Welcome back to the Bears Buddy podcast. So today we're going to be talking about Trey Hendrickson, the defensive line for the Bears, the edge rushers and defensive tackles specifically. What should the Bears do in the offseason? Well, let's talk about it. So you've got Trey Hendrickson right here. He's a free agent, so you don't have to lose any draft capital or anything like that. In my opinion, this is a great way to go. You are concerned about his injury history right here. Hendrickson is an upper echelon on the NFL pass rusher scale, despite missing the majority of the 2025 season with injury. Now, he's on the Bengals, so you could say that he just didn't want to play. I mean, they treated him like crap in the offseason. He was expecting to get at least a 3-year contract, so maybe they know something that we don't. But if you look right here at his numbers, 51 is Myles Garrett for the last 3 seasons. Danielle Hunter, and then Trey Hendrickson. And look who he is right above. Not to always make this about the Packers, but, I mean, Micah Parsons is half a sack below him. Now, both of them have been out with injury for a fair amount, but this is what I believe that the Bears should go out and do. Look, you got Caleb Williams' contract window is 3 years, right? So 2 years, we spend a little bit of a bag here. We spend $50 million. Let's go ahead and see what Sports Track has to say about this. Sports Track has him valued at $25.4 million per year. It looks like it's a 2-year, $50 million, so $50 to $51 million average salary contract of 25.5. Yeah, so, I mean, we could spend a lot of money on this guy. The problem is that if he just doesn't end up playing, if the Bears have any type of steam like we had this year, you don't want to waste any of that. And I mean, Dio Adangbo, Shamar Turner going down early, that really hurt us, which brings me to my next point. Let's kind of jump into what the Bears are dealing with right now. So the Bears have Montez Sweat at edge, and he is our number one guy. Say what you want about him. He did a phenomenal job, especially everybody kept saying after the bye week. So he really came on there. He was huge in the playoffs. I mean, he had a sack in each game. The guy was a menace getting to the quarterback and really just disrupting. But then you have Dio Adangbo right below him. And while people said that he was good at a run stopping, I just never really saw it. You'd like to think that he would come back and still like contribute to the team, because again, if we click into Dio Adangbo, the dude isn't even 27 years old. Yeah, he's got an injury, but you know, he's still coming back. And then again, you see he's got, he's got 2 more years with us. You know, he's got that Achilles. Who knows if you come back from that? You got to want to come back from that. And I mean, all this money that he's got coming to him, me personally, I just shut it down. Like, yeah, I have to come to terms with it, but he just doesn't seem to be that guy. You know, like he had his career in Indianapolis first 4 years, then he comes over to the Chicago Bears last season, and it just didn't seem like we heard too much about him in the offseason, for better or worse, you know? So I just don't think that he's a guy going forward. Now we just burn the contract to the ground. You know, we just keep it going. Maybe we restructure it a little bit. You could get up to $6 million from him. So obviously we're going to do that, but you cannot like drop him because it's the same hit. You're just going to take the same hit. So we can't drop him. We have Austin Booker. We have, now if you go down to the interior defensive linemen, you have Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, and then you have Shamar Turner. So Shamar Turner is on that rookie contract. Now he went out as well. We could see right here, you know, he didn't play for a lot of the season. He had the ACL injury right here, but he's still on the rookie contract. And I loved this guy. He's a guy that loves football. Okay, so now we're all caught up with where the Bears are at currently. Based off of this, we need one edge rusher. I know that we have Austin Booker right there, but we need one other edge rusher, a solid guy, a veteran, and I think that Trey Hendrickson is that guy. Then going down to the interior defensive line, you've got Grady Jarrett right there. You need to add to that, and in my opinion, you add to that through the draft. So let's check this out. I've got Todd McShay's top 50 risers. The Senior Bowl just happened last week, and this is what Todd has to say. he brings up a couple guys. He brings up Lee Hunter. He brings up TJ Parker. He brings up Derek Moore. He brings up Caleb Banks. And then the guy that I love, Zion Young. So these are the guys that he brings up. Now, again, we could keep going through this, but the guy that I really want isn't up here. And I hope that the guy that I really want isn't even on the top 20 list. Because again, you got to remember the Bears are 25th overall pick. So my guy's not even on this top 20, which makes me very excited. There's a couple guys on here, like if Peter Woods falls to the 25th, we'd be very lucky because he doesn't have as much of like that honed energy. He's raw. Like Peter Woods is a raw talent, and Clemson is coming off a terrible season where he and TJ Parker really lost value. So Caden McDonald, that's it. Caden McDonald is the guy that I want in Chicago. That's it. Caden McDonald, interior lineman. But we'll go through this real quick together. So we got Lee Hunter right here. Lee Hunter, as Todd McShay's right here, Hunter is a havoc-wreaking run defender and one of the best pass-rushing interior defensive linemen in the class. I viewed Hunter as a likely first-round pick prior to Senior Bowl week, and he may have cemented that status in Mobile. So again, I think that he's a guy that's like, he's a very good, productive interior defensive lineman. I love the guy. He's huge. He's a guy that we would love to have. You know, we look at this. Now I've picked up interior defensive linemen here and edge rushers. Obviously, Ruben Bade's going to be gone. David Bailey's going to be gone. Peter Woods, again, right here, that guy that I said right here. Now, Todd McShay had him pretty low at 19. PFF has him at 14. I honestly agree with, PFF here. I do think that he's going to go pretty early here. Got Cassius Howell here, an edge rusher. You got Keldrick Falk, which is a weird one. He's a weird one for me because he's an edge rusher. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. He's a guy that's going to need the combine to justify that size because that size kind of got you in no man's land there. You're either an edge rusher or you're a defensive tackle. I brought this up to show you. In my opinion, Quinnen Williams is the best defensive tackle in the NFL. Now that he's with the Cowboys, he was able to show that. I mean, he shut down the Eagles. Now, that's not saying too much after we saw how far the Eagles came by the end of the season. They look like trash. But in that 21-point comeback, Quinnen Williams was quintessential in that comeback. So this guy, if you look at his stats right here, 6'3", 303 pounds. That's what you want in a defensive tackle. You go back and you look at Grady Jarrett, he's 6'1", 293. So he's like a little small, but he's got that first step. Now you come over to just like the sack leaders, right? We've got the absolute freak in Myles Garrett, who's only 6'4", 272. I mean, obviously he's muscle, so that weighs less than fat, but you go into Brian Burns right here. He's a linebacker, 6'5", 250. So again, he's a linebacker, so he's small for that window. Danielle Hunter, 260 to 275 pounds. That's where you want your defensive end. So just to keep in mind what we're looking for, you go back here, Aiden Hutchinson, 6'7", 268. Again, 260 to 275. Say it with me again, we got a couple of DBs here. Linebackers. Let's go. Josh Sweat's a linebacker as well. Let's just check out Max Crosby real quick. Montez Sweat again. Boom. The dude's perfect right in there. He fits in that 270 window. So I'm just trying to say that that's the build that you're kind of looking for. When we talk about Austin Booker, he's small. Austin Booker is a small guy for us. He's 6'6", 245 pounds. Now, I can't see that on here, but that's what he is. So he's undersized. His biggest concern is can he put on weight and still hold that without, losing a step? The answer seems to be no right now because he's not bulking up like we need him to. And that seems like the easiest thing to do in the first 2 years. Granted, dude's only 23 years old, so, it's easier for him to lose weight. Metabolism's still going, especially for a freak athlete like any of these guys in the NFL. Okay, so check this out. With all that in mind, the weight, right? You start to look at these guys, and now weight means nothing because, again, if we went back there and we looked at Micah Parsons is tiny. His arms are short. He's 6'3", 250, I believe. And that guy's an absolute menace. You know, so size isn't everything, but it is a lot. So again, we'll go through here real quick. Caleb Banks is a guy. Look, they have him at 17th, and Todd McShay, I don't even think that he doesn't even make his top 10. So, or his top 20. So, you know, take everything with a grain of salt when you see this. It's all based on need to. One thing that the PFF rankings really don't account for is like personality, really. It's basically like how good was your team playing and how good was your PFF ranking, essentially. That's what they're doing this on. So it's kind of a bogus ranking in my opinion, but the guy that I really want is Caden McDonald right here. Now look at this size, 6'3", 326 pounds with a quick step, they say. I mean, that's exactly what we need to stop the middle. Let's hop back into Todd McShay real quick and hear a little bit about some of these edge rushers, but I think that if we get it done with Trey Hendrickson, we don't have to worry about going after a TJ Parker. Although, you know, if Parker winds up hearing his name in the first round of April's draft, his trip to Mobile will have served as the momentum shifter he so desperately needed. Again, a guy that just had a bad college season, and he just, you know, they just didn't get it back. The other guy too is Michigan's Derek Moore. Now, here's a great guy. Again, he's a guy that I pointed out on the channel. Moore has so much power in his hands, and he is consistently sets a hard edge versus the run and gave offensive tackles fits as a pass rusher in one-on-ones. Now, these one-on-ones are ridiculous, and they need to go away with them because there's no scheme involved. There's no help from the guard. It's all just one-on-ones. If you're fast enough, strong enough like Derek Moore, you're going to run through your fair share of guys. So again, we got Derek Moore. Where is Derek Moore at here? I don't see him until 58, which is great because that's right where our second pick is. Now, Derek Moore needs to chill because if we want to get him in the second round, the only hope that we have is that he has a bad, you know, combine. But again, right here, I might be higher on Moore than most, but I believe a strong combine performance in Indianapolis after the consistently dominant showing he just had in Mobile could earn him a spot in round 2 of April's draft. So again, Todd McShay says kind of the same thing that I'm saying. He does call Caleb Banks a wild card here. Banks is a top 25 prospect in his class, but he missed significant time with injuries. Now, what he's not saying here is Caleb Banks was out with injury, but he made a concerted effort to get back at the end of the season, and then he showed up to the Senior Bowl. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to boost his draft status. Now, again, I have no concerns about personality when it comes to Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles, Dennis Allen, really, really talking to these guys and figuring out who they are as men. So, again, if he could work hard, I believe that Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson are going to be able to spot that right away. But he's too much of a buffet-style effort player, picking and choosing how to attack as he goes. Man, I love Todd McShay for that, and that is so true. That seems like what we have with Dio Adangbo. So if Caleb Banks is like that, we need to run for the hills on him. The other guy is Zion Young, and man, did he screw us over by going to the Senior Bowl. He had a phenomenal week. Young's effort and relentlessness stood out all week. He's just a havoc wreaker, and it showed. I posted the viral clip. I mean, I made a profile about him. His tenaciousness was awesome to watch all week, and he capped it off with an American team MVP on Saturday. I'll go ahead and end this tonight with looking at Zion Young. He's 45, bud. I think that just like just like Luther Burden last year from Miz. He's not going to make it too much further than, I'd be surprised if he makes it past late 30s, you know? So we'll see what we could do. I mean, ultimately for me, it would be awesome. I mean, Akeem Messidor is a huge guy too, 280. He's an edge rusher. I've heard mixed reviews about Christian Miller. Would not be happy if I heard his name in April, honestly. Caden McDonald's my guy. That's it. Caden McDonald's my guy. He played really well against Indiana. That's like my litmus test right there, you know. I mean, he played bad against Penn State, but again, Penn State has a decent line. Iowa's got a decent line. He didn't play them that year. So, I mean, I think that he's a guy that really, you know, 12 hurries. Again, defensive tackle, they're not going to have the best stats right here. Eye-popping. Either way, this is the guy that I want. I want Trey Hendrickson, and then I want Caden McDonald. Stamp it. Do whatever you want with it. I'm Bears Buddy. For now, bear down.